Hello friends and welcome back to our homestead. Today has been a busy day. We've been canning left and right, and now I'm going to be canning tomatoes. And I want to share with you a very unusual but very interesting recipe of canning tomatoes. We make a lot of tomato sauce and other things, but today I'm going to be canning this beautiful, very firm, very ripe, small tomatoes. Let me show you how I'm going to do it. And it's going to be the most unusual ingredient. You guys ready? Are you ready? Marigolds. I'm going to be canning them with marigolds. So marigolds are, poor man's saffron. You know how expensive saffron is, right? But marigolds have similar aroma and taste and color when it's implemented in cooking. Okay, so it's also medicinal, but that's a different video. And if you're interested to learn more about marigolds, I will put up a link somewhere here about marigolds. It's a wonderful plant to grow and preserve for health, but that's a different video. All right, so let me show you how I'm going to be canning for winter these beautiful tomatoes with marigolds. I like to can tomatoes that are smaller in size, just like this. They're easy to fit in a jar and they are very firm to touch. I'm like pressing on them and they're not squishing. So that means the skin is nice and firm and bouncy. So these are the best tomatoes to for canning. Of course, you can try other ones, but those big heirlooms probably will not work the best because it will be very difficult to fit them in a jar. So that's why I like to use these little ones. So here are the things I'm going to be needing. So obviously I'm going to be needing jars, and I'm using quart jars. I'm going to be needing a bunch of little beautiful tomatoes, and they're all small and they're all similar in size. Then I'm going to be needing marigolds, and I have some orange ones and yellow, and they've already been washed. Make sure that there are no bugs in it, because you know how bugs absolutely love marigolds. Then I'm going to be needing salt, and I have coarse sea salt. It's very coarse salt. You can use any salt you like. I'm going to need some sugar. Okay, so I have a bunch of sugar here. I'm going to be needing juniper berries. These are dried juniper berries. They're going to add a nice flavor to my tomatoes, and regular peppercorns. Okay, peppercorns. I got this pepper from the Amish country when we went to visit them. And obviously we're going to need some vinegar, and I have this is 5%. Yes, 5% distilled vinegar. Okay, and obviously lids and that sort of thing. So let's start canning these tomatoes. So this is how I'm going to do it. All right, let me show you. All right, so I'm going to start filling up these jars, but before I do that, I'm just going to take like a tooth pick or something. I'm going to stick a few holes in here, and the reason for that is that it's going to help my tomatoes not to blow up and kind of peel right away. All right, so I'm going to put a few, and it's not many going to fit in here, and I'm going to drop a beautiful flower in here, and I'm going to keep filling it up. I'm going to put another one, go over there, and I'm going to put another one. So it's going to be pretty, but it's also going to be very fragrant. All right, and I think I can fit one more small one here maybe. So for one quart jar, I'm going to be using 3 of these flowers. Okay, now what am I going to do now? I have freshly boiled water, and I'm going to cover with boiling water. I'm going to do it slowly because I don't want my jar to crack. But since it just got sterilized, so the jar is still hot from sterilization, so I'm just going to pour all the water to the top, and I'm going to, let me grab a lid, and I'm going to put a lid right on top, just like this. And I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes. This is going to allow the tomatoes to warm up, all the ingredients to sterilize, and it's going to sit here for 20 minutes as I'm keep working on the rest of these tomatoes. I covered the jars with a towel just to keep them warm for 20 minutes while they're warming up on the inside and sterilizing. All right, 20 minutes later, I'm going to be straining this liquid. It's going to be still hot, so I'm going to be using some protection here. And as I'm draining it, I'm going to measure how much liquid went into here. Okay, oops. So let me just drain it, and I'm going to measure. Oh, making a mess. I'm just measuring how much liquid in each, and I'm returning it into a pot because that's where we're going to be making. That's where we're going to be making the marinade or brine, whatever you want to call it. This is a disaster. They're falling out. Gotta put them back in. Where'd you go, buddy? You're gonna stay here. Okay. Let me. Actually, maybe I can do it without the glove. All right. So 2, 4. Perfect. Okay. So I am looking at how much liquid I have because now I'm going to be putting this on the stove and I'm going to be mixing it with other few ingredients to create a delicious brine or marinade, whatever you want to call it. All right, so the brine is going to be based on the amount of liquid that I have in here. And I measured it on purpose so I will know exactly how much I need. So to this, I'm going to be adding, so this brine is based on 1 quart of water, and I have 1.5. Okay, I have 1.5. So for each quart of water, I need 1 tablespoon of salt. So since I have 1.5, I'm going to be putting 1.5 tablespoons. Also, I need 3 tablespoons of sugar. 1, 2, 3. But since I have 1.5, I'm going to be putting another. All right, how's that? All right, so this is going to go on a stove to be warmed up. It needs to be brought back to boiling. You know what I should do while that is working? I'm going to cover my jars just to keep them warm. To this, I'm also going to be adding vinegar. Again, vinegar is based on 1 quart of water. I need 1/4 cup of vinegar, 5% vinegar. But since I have 1.5 here, I'm going to be putting 1/4 and 2 tablespoons. Why? Because there are 4 tablespoons in a quart, right? I mean, in 1/4 cup. All right, so this is going on the fire now. I'm just gonna stir a few times to make sure that all my salt and sugar dissolves in here. And I'm gonna bring it to a boil, nothing to it. Just a couple of minutes until it comes back to boil. While the marinade is coming to a boil, I'm gonna be adding a few more things to these jars. Remember how I said that we had juniper berries and peppercorns? So I'm gonna be adding a few, this is probably about 5 juniper berries to each jar. And that's gonna add a really nice flavor and aroma to our tomatoes. And also I'm gonna do the same thing with black peppercorns. I don't know, probably about, I don't know, this is too many, probably about 5 or so to each. I'm not really counting, I'm eyeballing it. And they're gonna distribute nicely, naturally throughout the jar. And put them back on, cover them up, keep them warm, keep them comfortable. Okay, just boiled. So let's fill them up now. I'm gonna go slow so nothing cracks, but the jars are hot from the previous warming up, but I'm just gonna do a little bit at a time anyway, just to be on the safe side. I don't want my jars to crack. And I'm gonna fill them up. I'm gonna leave about half an inch of headspace. And I already begin to smell marigolds very strongly. All right, a little bit more here, a little bit more here. And we're gonna put the lids back on, but I'm not gonna use these ones. I have sterilized ones sitting to the side that I covered with boiling water. I'm gonna be using those. Okay, I'm gonna put them on. One more. And if this was back home, the way Mama taught me, I would have put these jars upside down and covered them with a really nice, thick wool blanket, and I would allow them to sterilize and process that way. But since I'm here in the United States and I don't want to scare any of you, I'm gonna put them in a water bath canner. All right, so I processed them in a water bath canner for 15 minutes, and now I'm gonna be listening for them to pop, meaning that the seal is sealing on the lids. Look how pretty they are. So here they are, up close. Look how pretty they are. Very unusual, I have to say. And the aroma of marigolds is unbelievable. Smells so good in my kitchen. Now, this is the first time I'm trying this recipe, so I cannot guarantee what it's gonna come out like, but I've been reading reviews from my Russian canning friends, and they love it. They say it's really, really unusual and nice. And it's really good to be served with something bland. So since these are gonna have a little zing to them because of the vinegar, they are served nicely next to potatoes or something bland like, I don't know, maybe eggs or something else. So this is very common dish to be served in the winter alongside with potatoes, rice, that sort of thing. So friends, I hope you are encouraged to make this. This is pretty amazing and beautiful at the same time. So friends, I hope you are encouraged to try new recipes, broaden your horizon as far as the recipes go. And apparently it's becoming pretty popular at Eastern European countries. And I have not seen it being done here in America, so here it is. So my American canning friends, I hope you try this as well. So friends, be encouraged and try something new.